On our journey from Mammoth Cave National Park to land between the lakes, Kathy and I stopped at Fort Donelson National Battlefield here in Tennessee. We're looking at the Cumberland River in front of us. And this was the site, this area, of a battle in the Civil War in 1862. The Confederates were defeated and surrendered the fort eventually. But right here, these shore batteries, Confederate shore batteries or river batteries, fought off a rather large Union gunboat attack right here. But then the Union troops surrounded the fort and the Confederates made a breakout and actually succeeded in opening a road to escape to Nashville. But then, with a lot of confusion in the command of the Confederate Army, they withdrew back into their breastworks, and General Ulysses S. Grant sealed the escape route, and the Confederate Army in the end surrendered, although maybe about a little over 1,000 troops probably escaped to fight another day. Incredible battle here at Fort Donelson. We're just taking a quick peek. I'm not going to go through all the battle maneuvers, but really a tragic day in American history for the Southern troops that surrendered here and that fought and died here, for the Union troops that fought and died here. But the effect of this battle, of the Union winning this battle, was that Kentucky, in essence, joined the Union, and the Union armies were able to drive deep into Middle Tennessee and Western Tennessee and really take the initiative of the war at this point. And this is the Lower River Battery inside Fort Donelson. Behind me is the Upper River Battery, and those batteries fought off a Union gunboat fleet that sailed straight toward us in this picture, up the Cumberland River right there. But they were defeated and had to retreat back down the river. But as we know, this fort fell to the Union forces only several days later. Really an awesome spot right here. You don't see sites like this that often. Wonderfully preserved fort here. I'm standing on top of the earthworks at Fort Donelson. The park rangers said that these are the original lines of the earthworks and battery positions. We're at tour stop number 2. And these walls would be 10 feet high, which pretty much they are right now with these trenches. But they would have had logs here also. Amazingly preserved. Let's go. And I'm being attacked by this snake right here, who's coiled and ready to bite. He already leaped at me once. Pretty aggressive little guy. Well, you know, if you're going to have a battery position, you're going to be on top of a hill. And I just climbed up this hill to where Maney's battery was located. Maney's Confederate battery. And man, what a hike to get up here. And just realized the determination of these men. I know they were fighting for their lives, but the work to get the equipment here, to build all these trenches. Look at these trenches on the left. They're just everywhere. And Maney's battery was very effective in repulsing the Union assault. The movements of the Union troops, right there's assigned to division of McClernand's division of United States troops. So Maney's battery harassed them, but also at the time of the breakout, the attempted breakout, they were very effective from this position way up high. We don't get a view now because everything's overgrown, but they would have cut down trees for several hundred yards in front of this position for clear view, for clear fields of fire. So this is Maney's battery position. Pretty awesome to get here. It's not officially on the tour road, but you can find it. Hyman's brigade was here, Johnson's division, Confederates. And who else do we have here? Oh, Hyman. All right. So these are the trenches, I guess, in the middle of the Confederate line. We just came from the right. So I'm heading downhill now from Maney's battery position. This part is not too steep, but again, you can see the Confederate trench remains on the left of the picture, all the way down the hill. This is Dudley Hill, which is the scene of the fight as the Confederates broke out of their entrenchments, broke out of the siege that the Union was beginning to lay around them here at Fort Donelson. And though they were victorious in their breakout, again, because of the confusion in the high command, the Confederate troops pulled back to their original positions, most of them, and that was the end of the breakout. And because they had drawn troops to this side of the battlefield from the right, their right was very weak, with only one regiment holding that line. I think about 450 Tennessee troops, and the Union division just overran them, and because they got inside the breastworks, Confederates realized that's it, we're going to have to surrender. So this is the scene of the fighting of the breakout. It is national park land, but there are no interpretive markers here yet or trails. And if you go on the American Battlefield Trust website, you'll probably find a wonderful video by Gary Adelman and others right here at this site, explaining things much better than I ever could. This is the site of the Dover Hotel, where General Buckner surrendered the 12,000 Confederate troops to Ulysses S. Grant in February 1862. And this is also the headquarters of Brigadier General Floyd and Pillow and Buckner. There's the Cumberland River in front of us. Battlefield stop number 10. And General Buckner was exchanged later on in a prisoner exchange, and he went on to continue fighting for the Confederacy. He was at Perryville and elsewhere. Became governor of Kentucky later on in his life. And there's the inside. I don't know if we can get in today. Let's see if we can. How beautiful is that Cumberland River with the yellow flowers. It is April 9th today. Okay, we're locked up tight today. Probably off season. There is the inside of the house or the hotel. Could this be the room where they surrendered? I'm not sure. And apparently we're open.
Despite all this history, we remember the Dover Hotel for another event. On February 16, 1862, the hotel housed an event that changed America forever. This hotel was the site of unconditional surrender. Commanders of the forces defending the vital stronghold of Fort Donelson, just close to the town of Dover. It was a desperate hour. A Union army under a little-known general named Ulysses S. Grant had marched in and laid siege to Donelson.
Well, the ranger just informed me that the prisoners were loaded up on these steamboats right here in this area. So that's pretty fascinating. If we could use our imaginations and just picture that scene. 13,000 Confederates getting on these steamboats to be taking the prisons in the north. This is the National Cemetery at Fort Donelson battlefield. And there are 670 Union soldiers buried here from the Civil War. Most of which, over 500, are unknown. We've reached the area of Fort Henry, where it used to be. We're in the area of the outer works of the fort. And this fort was never in a very good position. It would flood even when it was built back in 1862. But when they dammed up the Tennessee River, the water just covered the fort. So right now the fort is in the river. Right there. So you can see we're near the outer works. The trail down to the shore where you can look at the location under the water is closed right now. So we're going to pass that up today. And the men from this fort, after it was taken rather quickly by the Union gunboats, retreated, about 2,500 of them, over to Fort Donelson. So here is the entrance, but it's closed off. So on a day like today, it's been raining all day and the trail is closed. We're gonna leave Fort Henry. That's a 1-minute visit to Fort Henry and get back on the road. I found another parking area a little further up the road, and we're heading down this other trail that points toward the Fort Henry location. So let's explore this just a little bit. See where it leads. And so the earthworks are still here. At least a little remnant in this direction. This would be the outer defenses of Fort Henry. And let's look to my left. Across this little road, we'll see more. So we still do have a little preservation here. That's exciting to me. Let's head down the road a little bit more. I really can't go any further on this road here today. There is so much fallen debris, cut down trees. But straight ahead there is Kentucky Lake, the old Tennessee River. And right out there beyond those trees somewhere would be Fort Henry. And know there's a way to get closer down to the shore, but I don't see it today. And this is going to end our abbreviated tour of the site of Fort Henry here in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.